Welcome to Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails. Today is August 11th, and Amos and I are going to film a couple of the soybean food plots this evening. I wanted to go and see if we could get that big 4-year-old on camera, but that spot's not going to work because of the wind. We could get in there, but then we're going to mess up some of the other spots where we would like to sit also. So we're going to film from 2 of the secondary locations. But this time of the year, I mean, it's prime. This early August, bucks that, you know, look at that baby eagle. He just landed down there.
Oh yeah.
Right next to the building. Oh gosh.
Hopefully the bees don't scare him away.
Yeah, he's gigantic. So getting back to it, this time of the month is really good for this because the bucks are super visible now and they're coming out to beans, alfalfa, clover. And I know Amos has been doing a little bit of glassing on some of the spots where he's gonna hunt. And you've been seeing a lot of nice bucks coming out.
Yeah, almost every night. The only thing that deters them is the bugs this time of the year. They kind of are a little bit in and out, but it's fun to watch them.
Yeah, I'm afraid that might deter me too, unfortunately. But no, it's going to be fun just to see what's out there, and we'll show you what we see. I think we'll do tonight and tomorrow night, and we'll probably combine it into one episode and show you what we're seeing. This isn't what I call prime scouting. This is the fun part. The prime scouting comes after the bucks break up their bachelor groups. There he goes. After they break up their bachelor groups and they spread out and head towards their fall ranges, that's when it gets serious. So this is more just
preseason, like the NFL right now.
Yeah, yeah. We're trying out our rookies, trying to build some camera skills. So yeah, we'll be back with you in just a little bit. Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails is brought to you by Redneck Blinds, Code of Silence Apparel, Hunt Stand Pro Whitetail App, Whitetail Institute, Research Equals Results, B3 Archery, Muddy Outdoors Tree Stands, Stealth Cam Trail Cameras, My Outdoor TV, and Hoyt. This is where I leave Amos. He's going to film that field behind us. And they've definitely been feeding in it. The beans are, from the last time I was here until now, they've stripped a lot of leaves off there. So there's a lot of deer coming out in there. So I've got to go over the top of the hill through the corn and get into a filter strip or a grass waterway and follow that over to the far corner. And I'm going to sit in that redneck blind. So, Amos, I'll see you back here again in a couple hours. If I don't show up, I'm lost in the corn.
First deer come out onto the beans. Just a nice doe. We'll see what else comes out. It's starting to cool off and settle down for the evening, so I'm definitely glad I'm at this spot by the carts. Poor Bill had to walk about a couple hundred yards through the corn, so he's probably sweaty and pretty warm in that redneck blind right now, but comfortable.
I'm waiting for the deer to come out. I want to talk about the bucks that I'm hoping to find this year. And of course, the Jordan buck the deer that I was after all last season. The one whose sheds Carson found back in late February. That's number one on the list. He was not on the farm, to my knowledge, until the end of October last year, and he was here quite a bit after that. So it's possible that I won't find him until later. I'm going to look in a few more places this year than what I looked last year. I'm going to have more cameras out in more locations, but there's some chance that that's going to be an October, late October discovery on that buck. The other one is a heavy, massive, non-typical looking buck that I think is either 5 or 6 years old. He's been here the whole time I've owned this farm, and I've got pictures of him going back to 2022, and I think he was 2 years old then, so it'd be 23 would be 3, 24, 4, so that would put him, if that's true, then he'd be 5 this year. And I know it doesn't really matter to most people, but I like to try to get him to age 5. That's been my goal. They're hard to kill at age 5. They're I think they're easier to kill at 6 than they are at 5. Some bucks are going to stay the same place in the fall where they were during the summer, but a lot of them disperse, and it doesn't do you a whole lot of good to get them all pinned down in late August and early September and then have them move off to a different fall range. So I get really serious around the 10th of September, but it's fun. I like to get out before that. But the 10th of September on, you start getting pictures of bucks. That's usually where they're going to be in the fall. The other thing you can always assume is that where they were in the fall last year is probably where they'll be in the fall this year too. They tend to keep the same fall range. It's not 100%, but I'd say it's a high enough probability that you can almost bank on it. So I should be able to find back both of those bucks because I know where they were last fall. In those 3 stands that I put up, that I profiled a few weeks back, they're in the right spot for both of those bucks. So I'm kind of thinking ahead on those, obviously, but it will be fun to find them, and it will be fun to get some photos of them. So those are the 2 that I'm going to be looking for. I wouldn't be the least bit disappointed if one of them popped out here tonight either.
All right, from food plot 1, it builds on food plot 2. We only saw 2 deer tonight. I saw one came behind me on this grass strip and spooked because it was 5 yards away. And then the other doe, they're both does, was out in the plot, just feeding away for half an hour, enjoying its evening like I was, but nothing else has stepped out. But for an August 11th evening, I can't complain. Definitely gets you excited for the deer season. Now it's a waiting game.
I'm down to my last half hour here and still haven't seen anything on this field. This spot, as I look out the window of the blind, it doesn't look like it's getting browsed real hard. So I don't think there's a lot of deer coming out on here. But something could still show up this evening, and if it does, I'll show it to you. We're gonna go out again tomorrow evening. So we'll bring you that action, and then we'll wrap up the episode tomorrow. It's day 2 of our summer filming mission. I'm gonna go in one direction and Amos is gonna go in the other. So we'll touch base after we get back here this evening and wrap up then. Amos is gonna go see if he can film that big 4-year-old that I profiled in that recent episode. And hopefully there'll be something else pop out there. And I'm gonna go and check out a deer that one of the neighbors said that he saw. So it's one of those, hey, you should have seen that buck that I saw missions. A lot of times they end up being pretty fruitless, but it'll be fun either way. Neighbor said there's a big one coming out right on this big field, right along the highway, right next to my farm. So I'm gonna walk down the road shoulder, get on the edge of the right-of-way, and set my tripod up and see if I can find this buck.
It's currently 7:30 and not a deer has stepped out, surprisingly enough. The sun got behind the trees, it's cooled off here on the food plot, and you'd feel like the deer would come out and browse on these beans. But we still have about an hour left. Fortunately for me, I'm very excited. I'm gonna get the opportunity to hunt Minnesota this year. Carson and I have been doing a bunch of scouting on the public land, and it's August 12th today, so we're just about a month away. So I'm excited to get the season started. I'll be filming most of my hunts here in Iowa. Carson and I will be back after some deer and some spots I've been at last year. I definitely had some good opportunities last year, and hopefully we can get on them again this year.
The lesson learned on today's episode: never trust your neighbor. It's been pretty slow. Gosh, yesterday was slow for both Amos and myself. Nothing came out on that whole big field this evening. We might be past that part of August when the bucks are coming out a lot. Their testosterone levels will start rising here pretty soon, because by early September, a lot of them are going to start shedding their velvet, and that's triggered by testosterone. And that also triggers their behavior. They become a lot less tolerant of other bucks. They become more reclusive. Everything changes. So we might be on the front end of that. So the easy days of filming big bucks on beans might be over. Hopefully Amos saw something where he was at. I'll catch up with him in a minute and then we'll find out. Amos just rolled in. What do you got to report?
Well, there was 0 deer that came out. Beautiful evening though for August 12th. Definitely gets you excited to be out in the stand, just sitting out there till dark and enjoying the outdoors.
We went 2 days without seeing hardly anything. And I'm sure we didn't spook any yesterday. And I don't think I spooked any tonight. Do you think you spooked anything?
No.
Wind was right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I just don't think they're coming out. But I know you talked a little bit about the bucks that you're going to be hunting. And you went out and you actually glassed up that deer that you hunted last year, earlier this summer, didn't you?
Yeah. So the deer that I was after last year, that we called the Marsh Monster, the moose buck, we are pretty certain that it's the same deer that I got glass and footage of. And meanwhile, I have a couple other very nice deer that have been coming out, showing themselves this time of the year, which has been very exciting to get me ready for the fall.
When was that? When did you film that buck?
I filmed them probably 3 or 4 times I've seen them, and it's last week of July, first week of August was the time frame that they're coming out the more frequent. And I probably saw 12 bucks every night, anything from smaller to up to his size, so it was very nice.
No, that's really good. Yeah, so you've got a nice looking season stacking up, so we'll definitely keep your story active. We'll find ways to keep bringing you into it, and we'll enjoy both you and Carson getting out and doing some hunting. Well, we appreciate you joining us, and I'll be right back here again very soon with the next episode of Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails. Remember to always dream
big.